Jesus Christ. Well, what do you expect when you're in Gosport, eh? So I was actually born in Fareham, but I grew up in Gosport. This is Gosport. This is actually quite a nice bit of Gosport. This isn't the bit of Gosport that I'm from. So I'm going to show you the bit of Gosport where I'm from, because I said in the last video that I would. I'm going to prove to all of you lot that I'm not posh, and actually I come from a pretty shitty background. Well, not a shitty background really, just shitty places that I've lived in my life, in my lifetimes. I mean, there are lots of really nice places in Gosport. I mean, there are also lots of really shitty, horrible places in Gosport. There used to be an even worse place in Gosport than where I used to live, but that actually got knocked down, and they have made nice houses out of the area now instead. But the flat where I used to live is still there, in amongst all of the nice houses, which is a bit odd. You'd think that they'd knock it down. Actually, I haven't been over here in like a few months, so maybe they have knocked it down by now. That wasn't there when I was younger. That's like a BMX track thing. That would have been awesome. I would have been there all the time. But no, they make it like 10 years after I was a kid, when they realise that the kids have nothing to do. Yeah, these don't look too bad, these little flatty bits, bitty flats. What have you got on your head? Oh, it's actually hair, okay. Thought she had like a cup on her head, but it was actually her hair was a different colour to the rest of her hair. Does that make sense? Oh, and they've also made this nice little Tesco, which I think I've been in once. It was very small, but people around here would like a Tesco, I think, because it's cheap. It's like he's shouting at me with his exhaust pipe. Oi! Ah, great, there's a policeman going down where we want to go, that's fine. There's the local drug addict. His name's Kev. I'm joking. I don't know him. So this is where the really big, horrible, shitty flat used to be. I might put a picture in here, actually. I'll put a picture in of what that used to look like. It was horrible. I never even ventured inside that. It was just too horrible to even comprehend going in there. And they've knocked it down, and now they're going to make some nice flats out of it, which is good news, because it was just full of drug addicts and rapists, from what I can tell. Yeah, so look, nice houses, and then this is what this area used to look like. And no, that's not my old road. Wrong road. And look, oh yeah, look, the police are going down here as well. Oh my god! They're actually doing something to the area. So, I used to live right at the top on the corner of these shitty, horrible flats. You can't really see it properly, to be honest. They're like redoing the front. Oh my god. I don't know what he's doing around here in his nice car. Well, there are a few nice cars. What the fuck? And some boats. And yeah. I don't know what they're doing with boats. They're like proper redoing. They all used to be that horrible. You see, like the stairs here. Let's go park next to it. This is what they all used to look like. They used to look like that. Shitty, horrible flats. And that was my one, the one in the corner. Right, let's go somewhere else now. I can't believe they're like redoing them. They really did need redoing though, so that's pretty fucking amazing. Oh my god, is that what they're going to look like? Wow, that's such a difference. So these flats, they're like made out of prefabricated, that's the word, prefabricated just slabs of concrete horribleness. And they just like bung them all together. And yeah, they looked absolutely disgusting. And they'd paint them up every now and again, and all the paint would just peel off like straight away, because it's just straight onto concrete. It was cold and shitty in there. But that's where I used to live when I was like in the start of senior school. I used to walk like 2 miles. I think it might be 2 miles, maybe 1 mile to school every day from there. Yeah, and it's we were put there by the council because we didn't have any monies. So that's what happened. When you don't have any monies, you get put in really shit places. But it's better than I guess it's better than being in the B&B, which we lived in for a while. We lived in like B&B for a few months as well, and that was pretty shitty because we were all in the same room. And then when we lived in that flat, it was my dad, my stepmum, my 2 stepsisters, and me and my brother. And there's basically just 2 bedrooms in those flats. So my brother was like living in the hallway, and there was 3 girls living in the bedroom, and sometimes my other sister would come and stay around. So then there'd be four girls in a bedroom, and it was pretty crap. It was pretty crap, but I survived. I survived to tell the tale, and I'm glad I wasn't homeless. Sunshine. Yeah, so when I was younger, we were like moved around by the council quite a lot, and that was one of the houses that I lived in for probably like 3 or 4 years or so. I lived in some nicer houses too, like my mum's house that she's got now is quite nice. So yeah, I've lived in some nice places and some crappy places. So, but I guess living in crappy places makes you really appreciate the nice places, which is why I love living in Chichester. I feel like the Queen. Compared to where I've come from. I used to have a mouldy wall, and now I have a conservatory. I think it's a good upgrade. I quite like the upgrade. One of the next house that I lived in after that one, we got moved to another house by the council, and the council were doing it up because the people that lived there previously were like schizophrenic. Well, one of them was schizophrenic, I think, and I think he had been like moved into a home or something. But the council found like hundreds and hundreds of dead cats buried in the garden, and 1 dog, like hundreds of dead cats. So they had to like dig up the whole of this garden to like 1 metre down, and then put a load of new soil down, just so that we didn't have like 100 dead cats in our garden, and we could actually have a usable garden rather than a garden of bones. And a different house that I used to live in as well, I lived in when I was about like 7 or something, and I found out afterwards that house had actually burnt down at some point. Like the upstairs had burnt, like they'd had a house fire, and that was actually the house that I started having my nightmares about fire in, and gave me the whole complex about houses burning down. And we didn't find that out until like after we'd moved out. I don't know whether that's just like coincidence, or I was just at that age where you start worrying about shit like that. I don't know. It's strange, isn't it? It's very strange. Life is strange. McDonald's. Oh, I'm so up for McDonald's actually. I love McDonald's. I like KFC better, to be honest, but McDonald's is also pretty bloody good. Show off. Oh, petrol! Oh, yeah. This is my old commute to work. It's a bit weird doing it again, really. Like 3 years. 3 years I used to come this way. It's quite a long time, isn't it? Yeah, this used to be quite a nice way to work, but I used to have the sun in my eyes going to work, and the sun in my eyes going home from work, because I'd be going to work in the eastses and home from work in the westses. So, and now it's the opposite, and I love it. I love it, going home with the sun behind you, and going to work with the sun behind you, and you get nice, good viewings of everything. Although it does mean that people that are going in the opposite direction have the sun in their eyes, so they might not see you as well. So you have to bear that in mind. Oh, it's a lovely view today. Pretty. Oh, and there's daisies next to the big balls. Is that oilseed rape? I think that's called oilseed rape. Why is it called rape? What's that about? There's a funny cloud over on the Isle of Wight as well. It looks like a mountain. Mountain cloud. You know, like how you imagine Mount Olympus to look, with the gods at the top in the clouds. That's what it looks like. It looks like a mountain in the clouds. Pretty. Let's make sure my camera's clean. See, this is quite a pretty part of the world. It's not completely horrible, is it? There are worse places to live, and I guess there are worse places to live when I was younger as well, to be honest. Like, I could have been living in the massive concrete flats rather than the shitty little horrible flat that I was living in. That would have been worse. Or like being homeless, that would have been worse. I've never been like properly had nowhere to sleep at any point in my life, which is great. I know that there are people out there that do have that problem. They have that problem. They don't know where they're going to sleep at night. They don't have anything to eat. They don't know when their next meal's coming from. And I've got to keep that in mind sometimes. We all do. I think we all do. I think we take for granted so much stuff that we've got to keep it in mind that we are actually really lucky people to live in this country, like to be born here even, you're really, really lucky. I mean, like anywhere in Europe or anywhere in America or anywhere in the civilised world, like Australia, well, they're kind of civilised. They're kind of civilised. And I love how their accent has developed because they were all like descended from lots of criminals. It's like a mixture of the criminals that were like banished there and the normal people that went there. It's like a mixture of the two. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Cockney criminals turned into Australians. Such a beautiful day. And this side, look at this side too. I always forget that there's a view both sides. Always forget this. I've never actually sat there and looked at this side properly either, because it's beautiful both directions. What are we waiting for? Oh my god, they're actually going along this hill with little baskets. Jesus Christ. Do they think they're going to like go sunbathing or something? It's like 10 degrees still. You're out in dresses and sunglasses and stuff. Fucking mental. Oh, Phil's like scratching his arse. Nah, it's not really. He says like today's the first day that he's come out without his like winter layers on underneath, like the thermal layer and the windproof layer and stuff. And I'm still the little pussy with my like heated grips on and stuff. Now there's quite a few bikes there today. Hello bikes. Ba-bum, ba-ba-da-da-ba-bum, ba-bum. Da-da-da-da-dum. Oh, so minty, so minty, so minty. Oh, it's so cute. We went to Beaulieu the other day. Beaulieu Museum of Motoring Beaulieu. That was pretty cool. Lots of cool bikes and stuff. Fuck it, let's do a montage. Have a montage. I know how you love a montage. You gotta have a montage.